So in this video, folks, we're going to show you what we believe you should do to prepare your motorhome for winter storage.
Let's get this party started. Let's get it started right here.
It'd be good to get a party started. It's cold. Got my coat on today. So winter is obviously upon us, folks, so we thought it'd be a good time to show what we think should be done to prepare your motorhome for winter storage. And as we're obviously having to do it on our own motorhome, it seemed to make good sense to do the video for it now. So we're going to do this in sections like we've done in some previous videos. So underneath in the description, for those of you who are watching on devices where you can see the description, there'll be a handy little index that will jump to certain sections if you don't want to watch the whole video. We would prefer you to watch the whole video, of course, but if you don't, the sections below should be able to help. We're going to start with cleaning.
Already?
We love cleaning. So first of all, and I guess I would do this anyway for any vehicle that I own, whether it was parked at home or like this motorhome which is parked at the storage site, is we will wash and wax the van. Now washing and waxing a motorhome, particularly the larger motorhomes, takes quite a lot of time. And when you're at a storage facility, it's a bit more of a faff, because I haven't got access to any jet wash or hose pipe. We're literally doing it good old fashioned way with bucket and sponge. But that is what we will do, and we will give it a good coat of wax. We like Autoglim, so we'll be giving it a good coat of Autoglim wax just to give the bodywork some protection over the winter months. Also means I get to see the wife going up a ladder, but anyway, I'll show you some photos in the video of us polishing this van. So next, of course, we will probably take most of the items out of the van, particularly foodstuffs. We'll leave the tinned items in because, of course, they have a really good expiry date. They don't need to be moved out of the van unless we want to eat them at home, of course, during the couple of months that we laid up here in the storage site. But we will be taking most of the other items with us. And throughout this video, we will be putting little video insets where necessary just to show you what we're doing and what we're describing in the video. Whilst we're taking all the stuff out the cupboards, it's a good time, of course, to vac and clean the cupboards, etc. So we will be vacuuming the van. Now, this vacuum will include, of course, removing the seat cushions, which we'll come back to a little later in the video, but there's another reason for removing the seat cushions. We'll be obviously vacuuming the carpets and under the carpets, and we'll be vacuuming all the storage areas just to get it nice and clean, ready for spring. So the next thing we'll be discussing, folks, is services. So this includes, of course, water and the fridge, etc. So if we start with water, in our motorhome, like with caravans and campervans, we have a fresh water tank, and we also have a grey water tank. So they need to be emptied. So for the fresh water tank in our motorhome, obviously this may differ in your motorhome, we are able to release the water very quickly by literally sticking my hand through the tank, which is located under the rear passenger seat, and removing the 2 plungers. Actually, I only need to remove 1 plunger. The reason there's 2 plungers in our van is because one will drop the water level down to 20 litres, 25 litres, something like that, and the other one just empties it completely. Now, of course, the water in this freshwater tank, by definition, is fresh water. So it's not a problem releasing it whilst we're sitting on the storage site. We're not doing any harm whatsoever. It's got no chemicals in it, of course. It's just as it is. So we will drain that out, which leads neatly on to actually running the pump.
Yeah.
So, of course, what that means is all the taps that we have in our motorhome, well, all 2,
yeah, plus
the one for the shower, of course, yes, we will turn on. And we will leave it on until all the water has run out of the system. And then the last, of course, is the heating system. Now, on ours, it's quite a new heating system because obviously it's a new van. So on ours, there is a blue, what would you call it?
Button?
No, it's not a button. There's a button that pops out.
Ah.
There isn't a button.
A valve?
It's like a switch or a valve.
Switchy valve.
And you twist this round and you'll hear it click. And that will effectively release the water out of the heating system. And what you tend to find for new motorhome owners, and it certainly caught us out, is that that may already be switched to the open position. So when we first had our motorhome and we filled it up with some lovely fresh water, we pulled up at a seaside. Yeah, we pulled up at Morecambe, and we put the water pump on, obviously, because we wanted to use the water. What we didn't know, of course, is whilst the water pump was on, it was happily pumping the water out of the heating system, straight out onto the car park.
Yes.
So you live and learn. Basic error, but I know there's many of us that have done it. Now, incidentally, the heating system has got an automatic system for draining water anyway. So if it's below, I think it's 3 degrees, that would click automatically. The next, of course, is draining the grey water. So for the grey water, of course, we're not going to release that straight out onto the storage site. So we'll be emptying it even in our waste master.
Yes.
And then getting rid of it accordingly. So the next item, of course, to consider is the leisure battery. Now, if this motorhome was parked at home, and boy, do I wish it was parked at home, it would be cheaper and I could just mess about with it during lockdowns, etc. It's relatively easy to sort that out, because I would disconnect the leisure battery and I would stick it on a trickle charger. The trickle chargers that we use, and I'll put a link in the video in the description below the video, are intelligent trickle chargers. They will maintain the battery, so it's not a case of putting some power in it, but it will actually look after the condition of the battery while it's not being used. However, our van is in storage, of course, and I haven't got an extension lead long enough to reach from the storage site to home. So we will be relying on the solar panel that's installed on the van. Now, of course, in winter, that solar panel will not be generating as much power as it would in summer. However, apart from doing videos like this today, where we've got the lights on, and therefore those lights are being fed off the leisure battery, in general, there'll be no demand on that battery. So we are confident that the solar panel will look after the leisure battery for us without doing anything at all. While we're on the subject of batteries, of course, we also have to consider the van battery. Well, again, if the van was at home, it would be sitting on another trickle charger. But, of course, it can't. So what we will be doing is, roughly every month, is we will come to the van and we will run the van. So we'll start the engine, and I appreciate starting the engine uses some power out of the battery. Please bear with me on this. But what we will do is, whilst the vehicle is in storage and on SORN, which in the UK means it's no longer taxed to be used on the UK roads, we will drive it around the storage site, because there's lots of little places we can drive around the storage site. It's completely legal because it's private land. We will get the engine up to temperature, and this will serve 2 extra bonuses for me. One is, or for the van, one is it will obviously help put a little bit of power in the battery. It'll put heat into the engine and therefore get rid of any condensation in the exhaust, etc., which is always good. We will run the engine with the aircon on. Now, this is quite important because, as I've said in a previous video, some people, I don't know why, they think the aircon is only for the summer to blow cold air. It isn't. It's to condition whatever temperature air you choose to come out the system. But the important thing is, when you don't use the aircon, the oil that forms part of the fluid that's in the system doesn't circulate the system, and therefore doesn't give its protection to the system. So it's always a good idea to run the aircon for a good 10-15 minutes, just to make sure that oil circulates the system. The third benefit of us moving the motorhome around is we therefore prevent the risk of flat spotting even the tyres. Flat spotting the tyres.
Flat spots.
Flat spotting the tyres. Because, of course, if you leave the vehicle parked in exactly the same place, that's what will happen over a period of time. Now, of course, there's a slight chance that when we park up, the tyres are in exactly the same position as they were, which would be really funny, because I'm not painting little lines on the tyres to see where the tyres are. But in general, it's just a good idea to rotate the tyres. The next one, of course, will be to turn off the gas. Well, that'll be a very small video insert for that, because we literally just turn off the gas. There's not really a lot more to say about that one, but of course we will make sure that it is turned off. And then moving to the back of the van, of course, we have the toilet cassette. As I've alluded to before, the toilet cassette, which is a Thetford toilet cassette, it's very popular, it's fitted to most vehicles. It's a very good system, but needs a little bit of maintenance occasionally, and that maintenance comes in the form of a lubrication fluid that you spray on the seals. And as I've said previously, we aim to do that every 6 months. We'll do a little video about servicing certain items, including the toilet cassette. Yeah. But for now, we'll just say that we will be doing that. We will be lubricating the seal on the toilet, and we'll be leaving the valve open on the toilet just for air to circulate. Is that it for the toilet? We're flying through these. I want my wife to speak more, so I might get you to... Do you want to speed read any of that? You can read my writing. Can you read my writing?
Yeah, of course I can. We're just listening to the birds tweeting at the moment.
We're listening to birds tweeting. They're not the ones going around my ears. But I think my wife also has got a bit of the cold that I don't seem to be able to shake off.
No.
While my wife has a think and speed reads the next page, we'll move on to the fridge.
Next one we're going to do is the refrigerator.
We are going to do the refrigerator. Good call. So for the fridge, and different vans have, or different fridges even, have different ways of doing this, is you need to leave the fridge on vent. Now, this isn't just a winter thing, of course. It's any time that you're laying up the van, you need to have it vented. So we'll show you in a little video inset how we do it on ours, but effectively, it's a little catch. We move the catch out, and it allows for the door catch to latch onto it before the door actually seals against the fridge. Yeah. So, of course, that means you get some air circulating around the fridge, and there'll be nothing nasty then growing inside when you come back.
Yeah, we don't want mouldy,
we don't want mouldy stuff now. The fridge has stayed nice, fresh and clean, and we intend to keep it that way. But staying with the fridge, on our fridge on the roller team van, we have 2 vents on the outside of the van.
Yeah.
Now, there are things called winter... What are they called? I can't even think what they're called. Winter... Where are you going?
I'm getting one.
Oh, my wife is going to get one. One we prepared earlier. Whilst my wife gets them, I will call them winter fridge... I will call them vent cover panels. They're effectively pieces of plastic manufactured by the same people that make the fridge and the vents outside the van, which is Thetford. Mm-hmm. And as we'll show you in the little video inset now, we simply carefully remove, or carefully open, should I say, the fridge vents, place these behind, and then close the fridge vents back up. Why do we do these? Well, to be honest, if you're using the motorhome, so this is not when you've laid it up, but actually using the motorhome, and the temperature is, I think it's 8 or below 8 degrees, you're supposed to use them anyway to improve the efficiency of the fridge. But from a winter layup point of view, we are putting them on because it reduces or almost eliminates any water getting in behind the vent. And also any little rodents or anything that want to try and hibernate behind there. So, yes, they're probably about £20–25 each. And of course, there's 2 of them on the side of the van. But we think that's £50 well spent. Yep. I'll put a link below as to where we get our parts from for our roller team, because we use Brownhills Motorhomes. We found them to be very good. They always keep us up to date with any order that we've placed. Yes. And Nick, the parts manager there, knows what he's doing, which is always a bonus. So I'll put details for that underneath the video.
Some people say they will put those on when they're washing the van anyway, to make sure the water doesn't go down the side of the van and into the back of your fridge.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So yes, you can use it for when you're washing the van. I personally, well, if I was jet washing the van at home, probably I would fit them. But as we've only got access to a bucket here, I don't suppose we would. But yes, absolutely, you can fit them when you're washing the van. So we'll move back into the van now, where it's slightly warmer. What do we do with the van blinds? Well, the Remus blinds that are fitted on the front windscreen and the front doors of this motorhome, which are fitted to so many motorhomes, we leave shut. Now, I know this is going to divide opinion, because some people believe that they should remain open because it affects how they open and shut over a period of time, and some people believe they should remain shut. Well, we're going to keep them shut and we'll let you know how we get on. We will, however, be leaving certain other blinds open. The one that we have behind us on our roller team van and the one opposite behind the camera that you cannot see, those two blinds, not every blind, but those two blinds have like a metallic backing on them. Now, I appreciate this is more relevant in summer than a winter layup, but I'm going to discuss it anyway. There is a problem with this metallic backing. If the sunlight gets so hot, it heats up that little bit of air between the blind and the plastic window on the outside of the van. And what can happen in extreme cases is it can start to warp the plastic window. So what we will do is we will keep those blinds down. We tend to keep them down when in storage, whether it's summer or winter. But we'll just pull the netting across because we've got like a sort of oldie-worldy net curtain that we pull across just to provide a little bit of shade, I guess. Also, of course, we do actually want some sunlight, natural light, to get into the van because we think that helps. And we know the van temperature will rise and lower each day. But the van, of course, is built with ventilation and it's designed to do that. So it'll be absolutely fine. So whilst we're talking ventilation, some people suggest and use what you would call water traps. We might use 2 or 3 water traps. If we do, we'll only place them obviously in the higher levels of the van because, of course, that's how condensation works, I guess, doesn't it? So we will place them in, say, a couple of cupboards. And we'll also place them on that rather large full width shelf that we've got running over the top of the cab area. And we'll let you know in a future video just how much water they capture. But in essence, these vans are designed for us to be living in them. Therefore, we're breathing in them, hopefully. And therefore, of course, condensation builds up. They are designed to vent themselves. So I'm not overly concerned. But we are going to probably try 2 or 3 water traps and see how we get on. We'll leave one in the bathroom cupboard as well. That's an obvious place to leave it. Yeah. So finally, as we sit on our comfy seats in our van, is the seats and the bed, etc. So as part of the cleaning process, of course, we've already said that we'll be removing all the cushions. Well, those cushions will not be put back into situ or put back in situ, should I say. Because we don't want the cushions to be touching the side panels of the van. The side panels of the van are a logical place for condensation to build. So we don't want anything blocking the air, keeping all that nice and dry. So all the cushions, including the seat bases, will be left in the middle of the van, probably piled up on the top of this table right here. And we will also be lowering the elevating bed, not that low, probably just above my head there. Again, that is to allow the air to flow freely around the van. Of course, we'll be leaving the mattress in situ, but what we're going to do to try and help air the mattress is we're going to place the step ladder that of course comes with the elevating bed underneath said mattress. And by doing that, that again should give some more ability. That again should give the ability for more air to travel around and under the mattress. Yes. That should do the trick, folks.
Well, about leaving the cupboards open, because you haven't said we're going to leave the cupboards open.
No, we haven't.
No, so that air can flow round.
Well done. I haven't said that, folks. So, of course, we said we'll leave the cushions on the top of the table away from the sides of the van. We'll also leave all the cupboards and drawers open for exactly the same reason, because effectively we want the air to circulate around the van the best it possibly can. Yes. That way we hopefully should reduce or hopefully eliminate any chance of finding dampness in the van when we come back to finally use it. Is there anything else? What have we done? Let's recap. In fact, we'll do a simple recap. So we cleaned the van. Yep. We polished the van. Yep. We vac the van. Yep. We vac under cushions and everywhere. To be honest, I'm a fussy cleaner anyway, so it's not a chore. I quite enjoy doing that. We clean all the cupboards out and remove all the foodstuffs, and hopefully consume foodstuffs at home before they go out of date. Yes.
Taking your tea and coffee, or your salt and pepper, any open cereal
salt
packet.
And pepper, condiments, very good. Yes, definitely condiments, because salt, I think in particular, is really good at absorbing moisture. So that salt would be no good to you when you come back to the van anyway. So it's best to take them home. What else did we suggest? For the services, we said we drain the fresh water. We open the central heating tap. We put the pump on and we drain the taps, including the shower. And then finally we drain the grey water tank. We talked about the leisure battery and the van battery, of course, and making sure that they're on trickle charge or being kept charged in some way, whether it's solar power, driving the van or whichever. Lubricating the toilet cassette seals. The fridge, leaving the door on vent and obviously putting the winter cover panels on the exterior vents outside the van. Leaving the front blind shut, because that's what we're doing. We'll see how we get on. You may have a different view. But leaving other blinds open, particularly because of this metallic finish on the back of the blinds. Putting water traps in on some high level places just to see if we can capture any of the last remaining bits of condensation or damp. And just remembering to keep all the cushions and keeping all the cushions on, well, we're going to keep them on the table in the middle of the van, leaving the elevated bed down to allow some circulation above the bed, and leaving all the cupboards open. If there's anything in the video, folks, that you disagree with, let us know in the comments and we'll take a look and we'll let you know whether we agree with your disagreements. If there's anything that you think we've missed, again, please leave it in the comments. If for no other reason, other people will read it and it will be helpful to them. We also may include it in a future video. So as always, folks, and I love doing this bit, thank you very much for watching. We hope you found it informative. If you did, please remember to give it a thumbs up. You can only give it one thumbs up, but if you can give it two, even better. And look for a link at the end of the video to subscribe. And my wife's actually pointing nearer to where the subscription button will be. See you in the next one.